Do you believe in love at first sight?
The Bible says that God perfects the details of our life.
How long did it take for you guys to think there was a possibility of me and Trinity being together?
Friends.
Is that flight?
It was so easy. Oh, yeah.
We were living together when we were 14, right?
I don't want to
You want to clarify that, Joe?
Okay.
Her faithfulness is outstanding.
Key to a marriage as beautiful as it can be, from my understanding, in a happy marriage, is that Christ is in the center. And you
Give
have
a short-
babies, is it?
No,
We're not.
we've agreed that we're not talking about babies for a while.
I believe I do wear the pants in the home. I mean, I've never felt pantless.
Welcome to our first episode of Light the Wick podcast. We will post 2 vlogs every month and 2 podcast episodes every month.
For our first episode, we have 2 lovely guests here. They're from England and they've been missionaries in the Philippines for the past 10 years. Their goal is to spread the love of Jesus to as many people and give God all the glory. And it's also Joey's parents. So, yeah.
So please welcome Mr. and Mrs. Wick, the originals.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And what a better way to start the Light the Wick podcast with the original Wicks themselves.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I guess first wanted to talk about what your lives were like before marriage. Like, before entering that season, but you guys were still together. What was your first impressions of each other?
Okay, well, we met very romantically on the steps of a church
That's right.
in Horsham in the UK. I'm English, but he's definitely not.
I'm native.
He'll fill it in later. But yes, we met. It's close to London in the UK, and when I first saw Alwood, I'd say the word was intrigued. Yeah, I was quite taken with him. His best friend was standing in front of him, trying to ask me loads of questions, and then I kept looking at Alwood when I answered them because I wanted him to have information on me. So yeah, that was that.
Aww. And what was your first impressions of Mom?
Well, I just saw this beautiful blonde, curly-haired lady walking up, and I was in my really good-looking car park jacket, so I was looking my best.
As usual.
So yeah, but yeah, I just saw this beautiful girl. I was like, whoa, who is that? And I let my bros do all the talking while I found out all the info so that I could make my move.
Got some good wingmen, I guess.
Mhm. He didn't realize it.
Okay, after chatting for a little bit, what let you know internally that the other person was the one for you?
What, on our first day that we met?
Or the moment.
Okay, no, I needed to clarify that. How did you know instantly? I didn't know Trinity, so. What after chatting for a while, what were the things, or what was the one thing that made you think this is the one for me, or probably is?
Well, I was very drawn to Howard's faith, and there was a lot of kinship. Although we came from completely different backgrounds, there was still a lot of kinship in passion and pursuit of God. And as we got to know each other better, and our lives became more intertwined, I just couldn't imagine not being with Howard. And we knew that we knew later on in our relationship, but there was certainly the drawing of the heart in that awareness and understanding, I think.
Yeah, well, for me, I found out from our youth pastor that Mom was an incredible evangelist at school, and the reports were this lady is a lady that's on fire for Jesus. So that immediately got my intrigue even higher at that point. So yeah.
Yeah, do you believe in love at first sight?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say, with love at first sight, that you have to believe in soulmates? Or what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I guess for me, I believe, the Bible says that God perfects the details of our life. And if he perfects the details, he certainly perfects the soulmate, if that's the word you want to use, because the Bible says the two become one. Right. He certainly is involved in that if we are surrendered to him in your life's journey. And so, yeah, I do believe in that. And I think it's different for every journey, for every couple. in that some people know the second they look at each other, and other people journey together as friends for many years before knowing. So different, but I definitely believe God's involved. If you want him to be, then you get the perfect.
How long did you guys date for?
Ooh, we dated for 3 years. We dated for 3 years. Yeah.
Did those 3 years like fly by, or was like, man, I really want to get married? It feels like forever, or
I'd say 27 years has flown by.
Oh.
Yeah, together for 27 years, that's flown by. But dating and starting, you know, yeah, I mean, it was beautiful. I had to drink the coffee you gave me, and I realized that
It has a hat.
there's a, so I'm drinking like this. And so I was like, what am I doing wrong with this coffee? There's a spout, but no coffee.
Sorry.
Sorry
It's like
about
a
that.
torment to someone
Sorry.
that likes coffee but needs coffee, and they can't work it out.
Very smart.
That's actually clever though. Delivery.
Yes.
Daddy, how soon into dating did you believe Mummy was the one for you, and how did you propose?
Man, how soon did I know? Well, Mommy was my first girlfriend. So I didn't take Mommy on without thinking that she could be my wife. So I was pretty aware of that. I wanted to make sure. And how I proposed, well, we went to the park, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just proposed to her at the park.
I
Dad
didn't know that.
used to always have tons of stuff in his pocket. Like he's never had pants without pockets. And he always
love
had
pockets.
so many
You'd
things
never know.
inside.
Pockets rule.
So he had a ring box in his pocket. Had no idea because he literally was like Mary Poppins with his pockets.
Come on
Just
now,
always
those
could
were-
pull
those
out
were-
stuff.
those
Cargo
So-
shorts.
Baggy pant days.
So when we sat down on just next to a bridge on a bench, and then
Were you really surprised?
I was, yeah, I was blown away. I was like,
Aw,
That's cool.
I remember that
totally
feeling.
uncomposed.
Yeah, no moment like that for sure.
Okay, I know a little bit about your wedding from what you've told me, but explain what your wedding was like and how big you had it, and what your experience of your wedding was like.
Well, for us, we were more interested in the marriage element, so we wanted to make sure that that was the focus was for our marriage, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So with that in mind,
Yeah, we're pretty low key, pretty chilled, you know.
yeah,
So we walked together, chose our wedding rings with Dad.
yeah,
with us.
Dad helped us find this in Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then he was like a paparazzi. He was taking photos every 2 minutes. Your grandfather. And then
You were wearing some nice dungarees.
yeah,
Pretty
green one.
funky. She was pretty funky.
Overalls.
She's
For the
always
Americans
fun.
amongst us.
I was a little lost there.
Dungarees.
Yeah, that's
I
English.
don't know what that was.
And yeah, so no, our wedding was just my grandfather, who I was incredibly close to, my mom and my dad, and our dad and stepmom. So it was.
I love that.
Yeah, it was
That's
very.
so
It was
cute.
very. It was the, I guess the definition of intimate. Very chilled. We went back to your house after, and then we cooked steak and salmon for everyone. So, yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty mellow.
We led the worship together.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's really cool.
Pretty simple.
And you did make your wedding dress, right?
I did.
That's pretty. That's some talent right
It
there.
was pretty wild. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, why did it do that? I mean, it came out okay, but
It
really
looked beautiful. Here's a picture of their beautiful wedding dress and, I guess, suit.
Yeah,
Right?
I didn't even buy that. That just belonged in my cupboard.
Yeah, and I was like, that looks nice.
Yeah, we're pretty laid back.
So we're jumping into missions now.
Okay.
Or is it missions? Yeah.
Daddy, you used to have a photography business in the UK and used to support us through that, and that was cool to see. But how has life changed as a missionary opposed to somebody just working at a job?
Well, actually, we've never stopped working. As a missionary, you're doubling it up. So we've never stopped having a work, if you like. You know, like if you were going to call work non-missional. But for Mommy and I think it's important to understand, like for us, when we were in England, we were involved in church already. So we were already on the mission field. We're involved with kids clubs and things of that caliber. The job was just really to try to keep us going, our family. And actually the job is also part of the mission field. So coming out, say, to the Philippines, we've continued having work, haven't we, really? So we've had our hustles to keep going, to pay for things, to live. And praise God, we've also had people support us, which is, unbelievably amazing.
Yeah.
So we had to learn that element of people partnering in what God is doing. So they're not supporting us; they're partnering with what the Lord is doing through our family here in the mission field. But at the same time, we've got jobs for our team, and we believe in discipleship through those employments. And so it's critical that we don't separate the sacred and the secular. For us, it's all a mission. It's just seasons in life.
Right.
So if you're in a season of life where you're just working full time, you're still on the mission field. But it's not as obvious maybe as somebody that steps out like we did and left everything we knew and come out here.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. And with that, like being in missions already, even before coming to the field, having children, before you guys got married and you lived in the UK and you moved here, but how many kids did you have when you moved here?
We had 5. So our youngest at the time was 11 weeks old when we came out.
That's insane.
Baby
How was that flight?
It was so easy.
What?
Oh, yeah, he slept the whole way. Yeah. All
He
of
was a
our kids,
sleeper.
like Wick's are good travelers.
Yeah.
You won't get any drama with that one.
We're all
Stick
travelers.
him on a plane, he'll be fine.
You have, wow, I'm blanking. How many kids now? I don't even know my own family.
We added one more since
We've
coming.
added one.
6. Okay. And so, how old is your oldest and your youngest?
Isaac's 23,
Wow.
and then Joey's 20. Almost
Almost
21.
21.
This next week.
Next month.
next week.
Next
Um,
Next week.
And then this Kobe is 18, Aaliyah is 14, Micah is 9, and Melody is going to be 3 in a couple of
So, as our family met with the Pruitt's family, even from I think the first couple of weeks we came, because that's when we really went to Faith. We visited Faith for
Classic
like 3
joke.
days when we came for the 2 months. Was that 11 years ago? But then we came to Faith again, and when we came to Faith to move as missionaries, we saw the Pruitt family. From that point, how long did it take for you guys to think there was a possibility of me and Trinity being together, like actually together, not just friends?
Like together.
It's like friends.
Yes.
More friends for life.
More than friends.
I don't know. There was just such a unique camaraderie and relationship between our two
Kinship,
families. Yeah. God just did something so beautiful between the two families, and so the relationships ran deep in so many places. Best friends all the way through, and so many dynamics. So I think maybe for me as a mom, well, I was clocking it hard around the age of 13, 14.
Oh.
That was one of the biggest. Oh, we were living together when we were 14, right?
I don't want to call.
You want to clarify that, Joe?
Okay, like they were downstairs, we were upstairs, and the houses are
separate
separate.
appointments.
It's like
Very
apartments
separate.
downstairs. They had a couple
an
of apartments,
apartment
It was
block.
not
and
a
we had a
commune.
long floor on the top. But it was pretty much living together. We'd hang out every day for hours. Me mostly with the boys, but Trinity was always there, at least.
Mhm.
So- Yeah.
But yeah. So what about you? What would you say our age? Because I was 11 when I met you guys.
Yeah. I
I
think
got married at.
probably when you
actually.
guys turned teens.
Mm.
As you turn into teens, we had some discussions like, I wonder if. So those were the thought processes. I think as you guys turned into teens, you got older, we could see potential. We were like, this would be kind of cool. So,
Yeah.
And your mum and I would joke about doing an arranged marriage between you guys.
Right, yeah.
Didn't come to that, thankfully. But
Yeah,
we
but
didn't have to arrange
luckily
anything.
it was love.
Exactly.
So we are now going to talk about the new land that you guys will be moving to in maybe 2 or 3 months from now, right?
Mhm.
And we want to know what type of ministry will be done on the land, and what's your main vision for the land as a whole.
Wow. Okay. Well, the land has been something that we've been praying for as a hub, probably for like 9 years. And so the Lord's really blessed us with ministry in the inner city. And then now we have a piece of land that can become the hub for all of our communities, our church plants. So we envision the land as a place where there's restoration, repair, and raising up of lives, for the kingdom. So it's going to be used as a hub It'll have its own local church as well for the local community, but it'll be used to bless our community, right? Our church. So it will be the base for the base for the future developments of what God has in store for us here. So, 10 years in the mission field in Davao City, God has called us to the city, Davao region as a whole. So we need a place where we can be anchored and people can come, receive healing, training, love, especially. We see our ministry as a place where the family of God is really shown, in word and in deed, in spirit and in truth. So that can only be done practically by doing life together. So what better place than to have a hub where people can come and go, and we can love them, So, yeah,
and how will you guys divide that with Biao and Barpa? Like, will you guys have two different leaders at both Sundays, or?
Oh, wow. I mean, like for that, we believe in raising up leaders, equipping and releasing the saints. So for every community, we believe that this is just the beginning. There will be others that will raise up and will actually take the helm in certain communities, right? So because you can't be everywhere unless you're God.
Yeah, that's
right?
crazy.
So absolutely, it's done in team. It's done through discipleship. So we believe that He is already raising up leaders. He's brought people from across the seas, but we really believe in leadership from the ground up.
Wow, that's really powerful, and I'm really, really excited to see what God's gonna do when you guys move up there, and we're gonna be neighbors.
Yay!
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Yeah, we're moving to Trinity's parents' orphanage land in a month or less than a month from now.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. And so we'll pretty much be neighbors. So both families are going to be up there near each other once again. It's been a long time since that's happened.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah, so that would be cool. So even though we're all out the city, we'll be very close, and I think that's quite awesome. Let's talk about your marriage and love life, like love languages and stuff like that.
The most important relationship you'll ever have. So
Yeah.
I thought, good topic.
Do you have like specific love languages that you characterize yourself with, or do you just love the way that you do and try to love adapting to how your partner likes to be loved?
I think we're quite big on not categorizing ourselves or others with things like that, but rather being intentional to see and to hear carefully and to love as people need to be loved. And that's obviously not just within our marriage, but just that would be the normal way that we would operate in that. So rather than saying this is my expectation, how I expect to be loved or need to be loved, just if someone really is intentional about cooking for you or something like that, then you just receive that as the love that they're wanting to express, because people are all different.
Right.
And with that, communication is really important. Yeah, learning how to communicate. And communication isn't just about what comes out of your mouth. It's about what you listen to. Doubly. So you listen, that's communication. And you communicate correctly. So that's probably our secret, that we just listen to each other.
And I've heard, or I think one of you told me, you guys are really similar, right? Or
we're
not?
Very similar in our values.
Okay.
I don't play basketball. It's not my gifting.
I mean, like your personalities, maybe. Or no, maybe I heard that from a bad source. I don't know.
Joe, what's your opinion on that? Joe, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Good question, though.
I think it's more complementary, not similarity. I would say that you guys that you guys as people work well together, but it doesn't mean you're very similar. I think that Mummy is very comfortable around Eddie and is never in a situation, like I said to Trinity before, something I really look up to in your relationship. In all the years of growing up in your house, I have never seen like a fight or any high levels of tension ever. And that's because they love each other. Like that comes out of love, not just natural, because it's not natural to be super loving. We have to make a choice. And I think that's something that I really look up to and respect and admire. So I think that shows that your relationship works well together. But your characteristics, I think, it's funny and it is different because of the way you guys act. Daddy's really, really loud, especially around my new dad-in-law. I don't think mummy's ever like that with my other mum. So
I just
um,
get entertained by all the
yeah,
crazy.
so
I'm in the best
you love
place.
that, which means that
I
you
love
work
the
well.
crazy.
But I wouldn't say that it's the same things that you guys do, or
No.
the same characteristics, or the way that you speak socially. I think Daddy's much more comfortable socially, but that's something that mummy's grown into, it being in the church situation. But in that shows that you guys are quite different, but you work perfectly together. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Well, for us, it's a real partnership. You know, having though we're different in terms of maybe the way we tick, we complement each other and actually just have a lot of fun together. So we're, like you said, you're right. I mean, we prioritize flowing together, you know, and I just have more fun the more I get to know your mom, you know, and actually we don't really have to say a lot of things. We say the same things even at the same time. So that's probably 27 years of being together. But I think one of the things that will help, you know, because for some folks they might go, that seems a bit unreal, you know, not to argue or to fight or something, you know, not to have that. And I think for us, it was really important when we first met that we wanted a relationship that was non-aggro. We didn't want to have that. So we made a choice to prefer the other. So there's never anything important enough to have an argument about. You can discuss things, but you don't have to fight about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I can discuss things. We may have different ideas because we do. Because I really value your mom's super brain. She's super smart. So it's like I'm not saying, oh no, this is my way, and then she has to bend to me. No, actually, we serve each other, and we end up to the same page. And you know, and that makes a difference because there's a difference with a conversation about a subject as opposed to a fight over a subject. Because we value each other's relationship more than any circumstance. Does that make sense?
Right.
So if you put that as your focal point, it's a lot easier not to fight.
And has that gotten easier over the years? I imagine it probably has, right?
I don't think it's
Or is it
ever,
never really
I don't
hard
think it's
at all?
ever been a hard thing, but
Yeah,
I think the key to a marriage as beautiful as it can be, from my understanding, in a happy marriage, is that Christ is in the center and you put the other first. So if in a situation you're constantly thinking, what does the other person need? And then they're thinking, what do you need? If that you're both working like that and worshiping God through your relationship, then that is a peaceful one. And that's a choice that two people have to make together.
Wow, that's really wise. And it's cool that you guys started dating when you were like 18, and so you guys, implemented that in your relationship at such a young age. And I think that's really cool because most people when they're young, they're like me. They want to focus on what they want, and I think that's a really cool thing that you guys have brought into your relationship. And obviously, I mean, you have a son who just said he never hears you guys argue. I mean, that's a testimony in itself. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Our last little section here is more about you guys as like a couple rather than missions. All that is super cool. But this is more about individually who you are in the relationship. So I guess a little couple questions here. Who apologizes first? You guys say you don't fight, so let's just say it more like if there were to be a disagreement in like the most peaceful way. Who would
Or
be
a
the person?
misunderstanding. That's mostly what it is.
Who would be that person?
Or is it situational?
Because it isn't a conflict. I think if either of us have communicated and then play something back in our heads and think, oh, did I come across in a way that wasn't received in the manner I meant it or something, or could that have been misinterpreted? We'll often go back and clarify, well, not often, but we would go back and clarify and go, I'm really sorry if I came across like this, or if I came across short, or if I came across like that.
I think it depends who went first in that
Yeah.
instance. So last week, I can't remember the weeks anymore. Earlier this week, we were so busy. Mommy was asking me some stuff, and I was a little short because I was literally texting, moving, and then I realized, like a few minutes later, I said, "Hun, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't come across short at you." Because then I realized, I thought, hold up, did my communication come out not the way I wanted it to because I was kind of distracted? And so, but I don't know who would say it first.
I didn't feel like it had, because I was well aware of him juggling 30 things while I was asking him a question. So I didn't receive that at all.
And that goes
I
in
guess
with
it's
being
just the-
selfless too.
It's just the point of trying to, again, trying to protect each other's hearts.
Yeah.
So it was for that reason.
Wow, that's really cool. So I guess it's situational, like Joey was saying,
Mm,
like kind of like,
Probably.
yeah, that's really cool.
I guess the question is, what was the biggest trial that you have faced once when you got married?
Like
Did
initially.
you guys face anything together, or anything being in a married relationship, or is it just anything that you guys went through together after being married?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like, in your relationship, like an outside
Oh, I
source.
see. Mhm.
Like if something happened and you like it was the first like big trial you guys like faced together.
I think we lost 2 babies in pregnancy, and those were hard times. But I think losing our dad a year and a half ago is the hardest thing that we've ever gone through. For sure.
Old grandpa.
Mhm.
Yeah. Toughest are things that involve the heart. So yeah.
Okay, I know we're pushing 30, but can we ask 2 more
No
questions?
problem.
Okay, cool. This is a funny question because Joey and I joke about this all the time.
Really?
Uh-oh.
What is it?
That one.
Oh no.
Okay, so just to give a
about
short
babies, is it?
intro.
No,
No,
we're not.
We've agreed that we're not talking about babies for a while, otherwise
Why?
that is some
No.
contention.
Is that the royal we?
I've
Is
stated
it the holy week?
that comes with this question: who wears the pants? And Trinity and I
Who wears
used to
the pants?
joke about this, like when we were dating.
I
Trinity
would be like,
said
I wear the pants.
because she used to say that she wears the pants a lot because in our dating period, especially, I would just try to do what's nice for her because I just always wanted to do that. So it almost seemed like I didn't want to make my own decision
Yeah.
during the dating period. So that was, and then now it's different in marriage, and we've learned to be in a proper relationship.
Let
Because
me just
same as you
clarify
guys,
that.
it was our first relationship.
I wasn't like bossy.
No, but I just didn't want to have an opinion because I didn't want to do
No,
what
because
you
he'd be
did
like,
not
whatever you
want
want,
to do.
whatever you want. And I'm like, okay, I want this. Or
Yeah.
most of the time, I didn't know what I wanted. So we were just like there for 30 minutes,
we've
not
grown,
knowing what
so-
to do.
That's why it's funny for us. But for you guys, who wears the pants?
I mean,
Trinity's
Their
favorite
faces are
question.
like,
I don't know why I asked it.
I believe I do wear the pants in the home. I mean, I've never felt pantless in my life, and especially in my marriage to your mom. So, I mean, again, it's like it's a difficult question because that question has some negative connotations, like I wear the pants.
Yeah.
What I say goes, and it's like, well, it shouldn't be like that anyway. I mean, if you're the head of your house, you're the one that lays down your life for your house. You're the priest of the house, so you're the first to lay down your life. And so if you do that, you're leading by serving, by loving. So in essence, you're wearing the pants, but you're also, servicing everyone around, I
Right.
guess. Right? I mean, I've never felt threatened about wearing my pants. I mean, you know what I mean? We've never had like a pant issue, have we?
No, we have not.
No, I've
But
never.
I don't know if you mean a little bit like character as well, because Joey, you're quite phlegmatic,
Yeah,
which
you're
is
laid back.
very much like me and your dad.
Yeah.
We're both that way. So, it's not that we are opinionless, like we were talking about, but it's though. But we're just not. Neither are we fixated or unyielding with our leanings. So
Like have to have your way kind of thing. Never really.
Yeah, it does
and
sound bad.
we
Yeah.
the things that we like, we both like you guys. So
Yeah.
that makes for an easy ride.
Yeah.
Like riding motorbikes together. That's
Mhm.
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
that was fun.
Okay, the last question of the podcast
Ooh.
is, so what is, I asked my parents this a while ago. I went to lunch with them and I asked them, and it was really cool hearing their answers.
Oh boy, we've got to compete with that.
No, no. Because you could just see, like, they're like, huh, interesting. What is one word to describe the other in this particular season of your life? So, like, for example, maybe my dad said my mom's really hardworking right now because, like, all the jobs she's juggling. Like, what is something, like, right now that the other, like, you're, like, really, wow, I'm really, like, proud of, yeah.
For me, I would say
Oh, you
that
jumped
I'm
in
jumping in.
first.
Yeah, I am. See?
You might
You're
take
wearing
mine.
pants.
Don't take mine. That's my worry. I'm like, don't take it. Don't take it. Block the word. Block the word.
You guys-
Same word, probably.
Okay, so the
On
reason
fa-
that's
on
funny,
fa- on-
family blessings, yes. You guys always take what the other person was going to say
But I
about
didn't
each
say
person.
Wick first, 'cause
She
it
always
goes up
says
in
it.
a
I'm like,
bunch.
no, don't say
I want to bless you with that. Okay.
I would say that Howard is inspiring.
Mm.
He's carrying a tremendous amount of weight in this season. We've been asked to take over an NGO in the city, which comes with buildings and responsibilities and people's hearts to manage and excellence to provide, and then obviously the developments on the land, and then the church responsibilities and other developments of tent making things. And so seeing him carry all that weight and walk it with character and integrity, I'd say is inspiring.
Wow.
How am I going to up that? Oh, am I going to up that? No, I think for me this season, I mean, there's so many words I could say, but if I was going to choose one, I would probably choose. Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. Faithfulness. I literally have the most faithful best friend. And so with faithfulness, you feel safe, right? When you have a faithful friend. And also because of her faithfulness and her faith, it's incredible because it's such a completion. That's why the marriage is beautiful, because you feel whole when somebody like your best buddy is that faithful to the Lord and to you, to our family. You know what I mean? In the midst of all the things we do together, her faithfulness is outstanding. Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah.
What's your most favorite thing about me? I'm just kidding. No. Anyways.
It's not about us.
Thank you guys so much for watching if you made it up until this point. And thank you guys for joining us on our first episode.
It's our honor.
Yay! Well,
Light the wick, yo.
please, I guess, like and subscribe. Comment down below who you guys think we should interview next. And yeah, that's it.
Has to be someone we know.
Yes.
It would be a bit awkward.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
All right. Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See ya.